My goodness. So we went to the P.O. box 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And we checked and we got so many Christmas cards, which we'll show you the additions on the wall. And then how it works, you give them the slip if the boxes are too big to fit in any of theirs. And then they come back with the amount of cards that you gave them. Well, I did that. We had a few, and thank you to those that have sent them. We try to send the personal Amazon notes if it's available. Well, I went back today because we realized there was one that was stuck in the middle of the Christmas cards. And we came back with all of this. Like, so apparently there's a tower of our mail away in the corner. And so I didn't know that all this was there. So if you all had one that, like, you've been wondering if we got it or not, it was probably in this pile. Because we see some that are dated from the 13th of this month. So we apologize. The P.O. Box just had it hidden, apparently. But they have all been found and are with us now. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Got some more feed, getting a little bit more this week. We don't have a lot of long-term storage, which we're going to be working on fixing. But my feed store, they're going to take a little holiday break, not for long, but more than usual. So I'm just having to stock up a little bit. While I'm in here, a few people have asked. It's definitely not many, so probably not most of y'all are interested, but it's something that you got to kind of think about. Is what do you do with all the twine from the hay bales, right? So there's a lot, and when you're tossing hay as much as we are, you get a lot of bales and a lot of twine. We save every ounce of that. This stuff is tough. It's really tough. And you don't know how often you need something to tie something together or anything. And just to have the amount that we do, you know, you paid for it. You bought it with the hay. So you might as well keep it. As long as it stays dry and doesn't get wet and is not in the sun, it won't get brittle. It stays pretty strong. So we just hang it. We have a bunch of screws that are up on the second story here, and I just hang them out so they don't get overly tangled. But yeah, that's what we do with all that string, if you's wondering. There you go. What's that, wild man T-Bone? What are we gonna do with you, boy? Everybody else being good. Get that hay, son. The thing is, I know why T-Bone's getting out. It's because it's winter. We don't have all the grass. And he's just looking for more grass to eat. Because there is still some that's not in our pasture areas where we are. There's stuff he can eat. And he's right there. And right here is a big old thing of hay. So, I mean, it's tempting, obviously, for him to want to get out and continue to eat that. So I'm trying something besides the fence being super hot now. I'm trying to give them a little bit more hay, a little bit more rations, because that could be a thing that they're just not getting enough to eat, and he's looking for more. So trying to make him happy in the pen, and we'll go from there and see how it goes. But he's definitely either going to probably go up for sale or be ate, unfortunately. Kind of unfortunately, right? More unfortunate for him than us. But we get that question a lot too, like how do you keep animals here? Well, a lot of that is if your animals are leaving, they're not getting something that they need or want, because if they're staying, then they're satisfied. If they're leaving, they're not. A lot of people ask about the guineas and the turkeys, especially. Regular feedings, making sure they have everything they want here, and they have no reason to leave, no matter what. So that's why I know he's getting out. Something is not satisfying the need that he has to eat, so try to up the rations a little bit and watching. Now that some of the chores are done, Jody and team are done. They have completed, took them 2 days, 2 in the morning. Had some minor difficulties that popped up, but yeah, I mean, super fast job, and I want to show it to y'all because it's really exciting. So we no longer have a moat around our house. They covered it back up. Actually used old Jolene over here, my old tractor, to help out, so we didn't have to rent another excavator for a second day. They got it all covered, and they put a bunch of straw down to kind of help. They did add more gravel here, and then we'll start over here at the store. We got water. So we got a spigot that's right here. That's all that's there. We had decided that since this is not insulated and not like done, we didn't want to run piping up to it, just because there's a chance that it could freeze, right? So this keeps it underground and below that freeze shelf. That way we don't have to worry about that. So, but the water is down here at the place. Tying into it here, it is nothing. It's just getting it here. So that spigot's sweet. And they were able to run the wire, and then I had the guys come out and actually, not joking them, but I had them come out and actually get this thing hooked up. Problem is, and I cannot believe this happened, the people that actually we bought the store from, they offered a deal to run the electrical for a price. I was like, you know what, let's do that, because this is one less thing I have to do, and it wasn't too badly priced. But y'all, if you know electrician, black on white and white on gold is not right. They reversed it. So we were having this flip that was happening. And so now every single outlet in here, I'm gonna have to pull all the wire out, and I'm gonna redo it anyways, because I don't really like how they did it all in one breaker as it is, including the lights. Everything has to be redone. I've called them, I'm hoping they make it right, because it's ridiculous. The wire and the outlets are maybe a couple $100 in materials, and then they charge me a lot more money for them to run that. But I've got to unpull this, because I'm not just gonna switch them. Like I said, I don't like what they did. So I'm going to run a breaker on this side, down this way, and then I'm gonna have the other wall do it, and then I'm gonna have my lights on a separate breaker. But the electrical fiasco is not done. I have to continue to do that. So I'm actually on vacation, which is fantastic, because my goal is to get the pantry done and the store done. I know it seems crazy to some, like you're like, oh, you work from home, this and that. Well, my work is fairly demanding, and so I'm basically working after the chores are done until the sun sets. So it's a little bit harder for me to get some things done, especially in the winter months and the shorter hours. But now that I'm on winter vacation, I don't go back till the next year. I'm definitely going to take advantage of it and try to get some of these big projects done. Kitchen garden, fence that was already here, new gate. So here is our new gate to get over to what will be the garden, which I showed you all. That's just extra pipe that I gotta pick up. But then we got a spigot over here, which is the most important spigot out of all, because our water is actually on the other side of the house. So I was having to drag water hoses over here to water this, and I actually didn't have enough spigots because I was running one over to the cows, one up to the barn, and then I'd have to unhook them just to water this garden. So got a spigot right here. That will be my water for this garden, and then all of this garden, which once we get the pantry and the store done, will be next on the docket. And then lastly, the new fence. So this fence that's right here was not here 3 days ago. So they have completely separated it. I actually like it too, because now my AC units are not around the dogs or anything. But they get all of this. Still a ginormous backyard, but this keeps their craziness. Look at these crazy dogs away from our garden, but they still get plenty of area to move around. So that's why we wanted to put that fence up and just separate the side to the backyard. And then also, like when we did kidding season, y'all know that we put the baby goats in the backyard. Well, if we're gonna have a garden over here, that wouldn't have been able to happen next fall. So this fall, or that would be able to happen next fall. So if we have to do that again, we will have a separation from our garden area to not have to worry about goats eating all of our plants in our orchard. Sophie, what you doing? What you doing? You finding all them bugs after they done tore them up, haven't you? Anybody else have a chicken that does this? You walk up behind them and they crouch down like that and then just let you pick them up. Sophie's our favorite chicken by far. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's like she has no other way out. Like she's like, I just have to hunker down and be scared. But we do this about every day. I just walk up behind her. She lets me pick her right up. Don't you, Sophie? Cute little thing. All right, I'll let you down. She goes on about her day. Okay, and then the last thing that was officially done, especially speaking of the goats going in the backyard, is the additional gate. So we have the gate that separates those two, and then this gate right here now separates the barn from the wild animals. But that way I don't have to worry about coming out of this gate and going around. I can just go back and forth, which is fantastic. So thank you again, Jody, and your team at French's Construction. They're always the greatest guys to work with. You know you're being handled like it would be if they were, you know, your best friends. Obviously, you're hiring them. So, but it's just that mentality. They're really a good bunch of folks, and they do a really good job. And so it's always good to, I wish everybody could have a Jody, a guy like Jody. If I need anything, he's my first call. He can either do it, knows a guy that does it, or can talk me through doing it. So it's pretty cool. We appreciate them every time they come out, and that would not be the last time that we need their help. But that job is check. Now it's my turn. All right, got to toast the fire. Looks like smoke, but I promise there's a fire in there. Now my goal is to hopefully at least get the board stayed today. Now that the chaos is over and we can get back to everything. So the braces are in. Let's check them out. Okay, hang on. Need a knife. Holy cow, more tape? Something else. Let's see these things. Okay, there it is. So it's a heavy duty brace. It might not look like much, but it's really gonna look good with the wood that's on it. So this is a heavy duty brace. I'm gonna have 4 different spots that I can hook it into. They got the solid anchors. Hopefully I can find studs, but if not, no worries. And then how this works is you put the boards right on top and you actually screw them in at these 2 spots so the boards don't move. But I'm gonna put 3 of these on each one, and this is exactly 12 inches long, so the board should fit perfectly flush, which I measured the board, because here's a fun fact for those of you all that may not know. When you buy, say, a 2 by 8 by 12, right? It's not always the actual. So 2 inches by 8 inches by 12 inches, or 8 feet by 12 inches is not always the actuals. So you want to measure the wood and see, because if you go and say, I need a 12-inch brace, well, your boards may be 11 1/4 or 11 3/4 or something like that, and then you would have a little bit of an overhang. So you just want to make sure you get a board that is actual sometimes. If you're dealing with more rough cut lumber or building lumber is when you're going to find that more often, but just an FYI in case you were unaware. I'm glad these are here though. Told you there was a fire. Here's the wood. So it's a bunch of them. I got 2 rows of these bad boys that are going on here. But as you can tell, we got them unstained. So I need to stain them down. We want them to stay a little bit rough cut looking. So I'm not going to sand them down. We want the look that's on here. And then now it's just a stain. We got one that was very close to our floors. And the closest one we could find is weathered oak. So that's what we are going to go with. So I think my idea is I'm going to stain them in here in my garage. And then I'm actually going to put them in the greenhouse racks because I have airflow on both sides so the stain won't sit. And it should hopefully dry them faster. Being in the winter, we don't have an over amount of humidity in the greenhouse, so it shouldn't keep them moist. But that's where I have a lot of racks that are not being used, and that'll be good. So I'm going to stand them in here and take one in there at a time until I get them done. So I am done talking, showing you all things, and now it's time to get to work. Bye, gosh. Okay, I got 7 of them done. I've got 14 boards to stain, but that'll give me a good start. To be honest with you, it is getting late in the day, and it's dinner time, so it's time to go in. We had a late start because we was wrapping up the stuff with Jody and team, making sure that got done before we can get going. But I'll probably first thing tomorrow, get the rest stained. What I was trying to say before the GoPro battery rudely decided it was time to die is I got 7 of the boards stained and done. That color is definitely lighter than we planned.
It's very pretty though.
It is very pretty. One thing about us is we love rustic and we love natural wood color. We just want it protected. So a little insight to us.
I don't know if he told you, we were trying to match our trim and our floors, but now thinking back, that might have been too much. So,
too dark?
Yeah.
Because it is dark. The floors and trim are dark, and this will light, it'll light it up a little bit. So it'll be good, but I've got 7 drying. In the morning, I'll get the other 7 stained. But while they're drying, I'll have 7 to put up because we're going to have 7 on each wall kind of set up. So works out well. Other than that, we just got done watering and doing all the chores. But man, the fence, the gates, and the water and the electric, that's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, they all look really good. It's exciting.
It is really exciting. It allows us to go to that next step of the store. But I still can't believe what they did when they put those outlets together, which I showed you all. It's crazy. So not done with electric, but at least we now have it there. Yes. So that's good. But y'all, if you want to see this epic pantry be built, stay tuned for the next video because we're going to make some ginormous progress on the next one. You may see that for Christmas. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not because it's coming out Thursday. So we hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. We will be filming. We have a lot of gifts that are from you all, so can't wait to open those. It's going to be really exciting. But other than that, I think Merry Christmas is what we're living with.
So, Merry Christmas.
All right, y'all. We love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.